Cool. So, really excited to be able to talk to everyone this morning about, the end of week report and some of the current events. So, just off the bat, markets don't like uncertainty. So the removal of uncertainty really helps price in different event risk and move past it. So everyone's always talking about, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Well, in the case of, the last couple of days with the Binance news, what we saw was that all of a sudden that FUD was removed from the market, and you saw Ethereum and the rest of the crypto space react positively. There was that initial dump, and then prices rallied higher. And, so let's just discuss the news real quick. So the CEO of Binance has agreed as part of a plea deal with the Department of Justice here in the United States to step down as CEO of Binance. He will retain majority ownership, but he will no longer have an executive position at Binance. He's also going to pay, Binance is going to pay a $4.3 billion fine to settle money laundering charges that the SEC and CFTC had levied against Binance. So that's pretty significant news, and one of the largest fines in the history of the SEC and CFTC.
I like that though. They're making some money.
I think it's like the seventh it's a massive amount of money. I think it's the seventh or the eighth largest settlement in history. Really big amount of money, but also CZ will be required to pay, I think it's $50 million.
Yeah, it was like 200 something, I think, but yeah, it's something.
Yeah, some ridiculous, amazing amount of money. But the important thing here is not so much that, he's paying money or Binance is paying money or that they've, settled and plead out. The important thing is that this news is now behind us and the uncertainty is out of the picture, and that fear, uncertainty, and doubt can now be removed from the market. And now we can move forward without all of this uncertainty around what's going to happen with Binance. Now we know, so that uncertainty has been removed. And now that that uncertainty has been removed, I'm starting to think, well, maybe I want some exposure to BNB. So, in the world of trading, this would be considered, maybe a contrarian move, or a kind of like a Cassandra, taking the opposite viewpoint. A lot of market participants might look at something like this with Binance and BNB and think, oh, well, they just pled guilty and maybe I want to stay away from Binance and BNB. I'm thinking exactly the opposite here. I'm thinking that this presents opportunity to gain exposure to what may be an undervalued token. And when I take a look at the chart of BNB, I see that, maybe it has some opportunity, some space to rally. So I'm thinking to myself, well, what can I do to gain some exposure to BNB? And the first thought was, well, I could pair it with a stable. And then I wanted to take a look at, well, what is the largest DEX that's native to Binance Smart Chain? That's PancakeSwap. Now, PancakeSwap now is, a multi-billion-dollar DEX, but it's also a multi-chain DEX. So, just pairing BNB with USDT and the base APY that they're talking about here is, north of 150%. So it's talking about 190% or 220% APY. Really depends on the range that you set, but that looked like an interesting opportunity to me. The next thing that looked interesting to me was, okay, well, moving forward with this theme of gaining exposure to BNB, I really like the Cosmos ecosystem. And within the Cosmos ecosystem, I really like Injective Protocol. Now, if you're not familiar with what Injective Protocol is, the token, which, like I've written here, is central to the protocol. It's the utility token within the ecosystem, but it's also their community-driven development tool. So it's really almost like a bridge. And I'm sure that Colin has more insight than I do in Injective, but I'm not analyzing this solely from a fundamental perspective. I'm looking at the chart of Injective, and the technical analysis that I've done on Injective tells me that it's got some room to consolidate and maybe run further. So I'm thinking to myself, I want exposure to BNB. I like the Cosmos ecosystem and I like Injective. Well, maybe there's a pair on PancakeSwap, a native BNB DEX that could offer some exposure to both of them together. And I've entered this, I've been in it for the last week, and with a 45% wide range, it's actually generating me almost 200%. So this APR, the APY that I have in this screenshot here from Merlin is, not as accurate as I think we would like it to be, but that's definitely another opportunity, Injective and Wrap BNB. And then, another opportunity that I thought might be interesting to everyone here in the community is, BNB paired with Caspa. So we've been talking a little bit about Caspa over the last handful of live calls, and Caspa is it's got an interesting chart. It's moving higher, and I entered this position also, and this position is paying almost 300% with a 25% wide range. So a much tighter range, but amazing APRs. And the overall investment thesis here is, with the Binance and CZ news out of the way, and that news now priced in, maybe BNB has some room to run. And how do we play it? Well, maybe we play it with a stable, maybe we pair it with Injective, maybe we pair it with Caspa. So that was what I was working on this week, and those were some of my intro thoughts there, Lucas.
Yeah, I love it. Thanks, man. Yeah, I thought the BNB and the Binance news, because I hold BNB, I didn't sell any, I didn't do anything. I just keep holding it because I don't hold a massive amount of it, but didn't care enough to do much with it, and I thought it would disrupt it a lot more. And when I actually looked, I was like, it kind of created a little commotion, but I've seen a lot worse over rumors of something, not the actual news. So that to me was really interesting.